Kyle said he's ready. I'm ready. I'm wearing a Volleyball Canada sweatshirt because we're here in Montreal and it was cold earlier today. The first couple matches of our final day here at the Montreal Elite was cold and rainy, so you know what, I made an impulse decision. I said I need a sweatshirt. I said give me the cheapest XL you have, and here we have it. So now I'm the proud owner of some Volleyball Canada merch. We're here at the Montreal Elite, and I've been kind of spoiled this year, Kyle, because I've been to Ostrava. That was my first event of the year, traveling with you back in the Beach Pro Tour. Then I went to Stad, greatest place on earth. It's not real. And now here in Montreal, and just the 6 total event that Montreal's had, it was freaking awesome.
They do a stellar job here in Montreal. The organizers, everything running very smoothly. The food has been amazing for all the staff and the players, and then the fans. Braving the elements in the rain all morning, in the wind. It wasn't warm rain, it was cold rain this morning. And 3,500, whatever that stadium filled, packed house. And it helped, obviously, that you have Mel and Brandie playing all the way till the end as well. But they got gifted an amazing tournament, and so did we. And like you said, you've been to some stellar ones. This is up there. This was just a really awesome spot.
Yeah, and I've talked about like majors. Right, so I said Ostrava was the Iron Major and Stad is the Majestic Major. There's not enough history here yet for this to be a major, but if this becomes an annual event, so Ostrava's been held for 8 straight years, and it's an event that everyone knows is happening on the same weekend in June. It's the last of Olympic qualifying. If Montreal builds up that kind of cachet, it could become sort of that North American type of major.
And I hope it does. In 2023, I got to play here, and I totally fell in love with the city for just the brief time. Had a couple bike ride strolls around the park with Paul Ottman. And that's why I told my parents, hey, you got to come to this one. A quick flight up the coast, super easy, as close as it gets in North America. And so I agree with you. It feels like it could be a major, and Volleyball Canada's got the fan support, and they have the teams that give it the bolster and that give it that boost. And so, well, why not? Let's go, Volleyball Canada. Let's keep it coming. Every year. Let's
keep it on coming. And it was cool because, so originally the stadium, right, so it fit probably about 3,000, was at capacity day one. They said, okay, let's move the stands over. Let's fit 300 more. Yeah. Okay, those filled out too. Well, let's fit 300 more. And they kept expanding it, and to the point, like, if you guys haven't watched it on VBTV, they had it matched up against the F1 track, which is just this massive wall of people, but you can only move it over so much before people wouldn't be seeing anything.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And then going down there to do the interviews, when I went up and I looked up, I was like, holy hell, it keeps going up.
Just a sea of people there cheering and dancing. And yeah, like special venue on Charles Villeneuve on the F1 track, where you just pop the venue right on the racetrack. So, I mean, super unique. I never really seen anything like it.
Yep. And so Montreal being awesome was my favorite storyline of the weekend. Stoked that I got to come here for the first time. First time in Canada since I played the Van Open with Rafi Paulus.
Oh, wow.
Never forget. Obviously, biggest storyline here, Humana-Paredes, Brandie, Wilkerson. Haven't had a gold medal since, guess what? The 2023 Montreal Elite, and here they are again. They've been in 3 finals since, including a pretty significant one in Paris, where they won a silver medal, but them winning gold, I mean, maybe recency bias. Best I've ever seen Mel and Brandie play?
Man, I'd like to say yes. It's hard to flash back to 2023 when they were playing some really good volleyball. But defense, lock solid, just super sound, giving so much trouble to teams were doing things out of their comfort zone to try and score on Mel and Brandie. We talked about it. Brandie led the tournament in blocks per match, 5 blocks per match. Mel, 14 digs per match. It was 4 more than the next highest. Unbelievable sound defense, and then the serves pressure. Brandie, the most consistent serving, the most aggressive serving we've ever seen from Brandie. She was almost hitting jump serves every single ball, and so I haven't really seen that confidence from her from the service line, or that really effectiveness from the service line. And so Mel said it in the post game. So we've been working on everything. And it looks like they've been working on a lot. It's been paying off.
Yeah, and it's paying off to the tune of a gold medal. Actually, their first medal since the Paris Olympic Games. And if they keep playing like this, so this is kind of a weird year because we start early, right? But you really want to peak in November for world champs, and they just keep getting better and better and better. And we talked about a couple times on the VBTV broadcast that they're basically going to relocate to Brazil for the month of September to be with their coach in Rio. And so they're going to try to peak for that world champs in November. But with them playing like that, they're certainly a contender. And they're always a contender in every tournament, but they just hadn't won one in 2 years. And so it's fun to see them back on the podium.
It was, and they were excited, and we got really emotional in the booth on, not even after the win, just more so of them walking out onto the sand and the love and support that they got from the crowd and how much impact they have on this country, being who they are and the characters that they are on the court and off the court. It was emotional. It was, inspiring. I was just super happy for them.
Yeah, and speaking of emotional, it was so good to see Anna, Patricia, and Duda back. So Duda and Anna, Patricia, they win that huge gold medal in Paris, and really one of the first times that we've seen Brazil show out at an Olympics since '96 was the last women's gold medal. Can fact check me there, but it's been a while. And so AP and Duda, they had a lot of pressure on them, and they win that gold medal. And you hear it a lot, that sort of post-gold medal depression, or athletes, they achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve, and then they come down, and a couple days later, there's sort of this now what type thing. And Duda opened up about that on Instagram. And it was great to chat with her kind of at breakfast, at dinner a couple times this week. And to me, Kyle, they looked so happy, and they were playing so free. And we just saw Duda swimming out here in the basin, which was built for the '76 Montreal Olympics. It's the largest man-made rowing basin in the world. Fun fact, we're full of them out here in Montreal. But it was awesome just to see. They looked like they were kids again.
They looked like kids at the playground. They looked super light. They looked like they were having fun, which sometimes they can be like that, and sometimes they can be, a little bit more serious, a little bit more stoic. But smiles constantly, even when they were down big at times. And after the game, just so exuberant, just happy to be back on the sand. They had taken 4 months off, and I think you said it, I think coming into this tournament, there's probably not as many expectations for them, knowing they haven't got the reps, they're not training, they're not feeling 100%. It kind of frees you up a little bit, and you saw that in their play style. Super loose, super carefree, they look super dialed in that bronze medal match, though, tonight. I mean, semifinals not as crisp, but that bronze medal match, they were ready for a W.
And they took the W, so that's their first medal is that their first medal of the season? We hadn't seen them in a couple months.
Only 3 events this year, and I think it's their first medal.
Yeah, and so we hadn't seen them in a while, and aside from a hiccup against Mel and Brandie, who just had a smattering of fairy dust and magic this weekend, and they got smoked in that semifinal against them, but they came back, and they just walked all over Tina Gradina and Anastasia Samoilova. Shout out Eugene.
Yes.
Latvian fan correcting us on, it's not Samoilova, it's Samoilova. We're working on it, and it is not Jurmala, it is Jurmala. We're getting better. All right, every tournament, if we can get one name more accurate, it's progress, not perfection, folks. And it's an asymptote. We'll never get there, but we're trying. But I was really, really happy for AP and Duda winning that bronze medal. And to round out the podium on the women's side, Cindy Tillman, Svenja Müller, their first final since a year ago in Hamburg. And just as they did in Hamburg, they drop it. Kind of a controversial ending, got hosed a little bit, but they were down 17-20. 3 match points come all the way back to extend it. Of course, it's ended with a Brandie Wilkerson block. Pretty fitting ending to the weekend, but a great weekend for the Germans.
They looked phenomenal. They looked like a well-oiled machine. Coach Kirk Pittman and the group, just super smooth. What my takeaway from them was Svenja Müller's consistency, rock solid. Passing over and over and over again. Tough serve. I feel like she rarely got ace, whether it was maybe just like a clean one down the line, something like that, but anything near her platform was really good. And that was an area of improvement for her last year, and some of the teams would target Svenja serving. And then when she was passing well, high, snappy here, high, deep into the middle, little cutty, little ton of variety, and then soft block to set up to option. And Tillman, we always speak highly of Svenja, but low to the ground, getting all these amazing touches. If she wasn't digging the ball, she was literally millimeters away from getting the dig, but just so steady from them. And if that second set goes their way, anything happens in that third set for sure, because that's how good they're playing. And leading up to the finals, or even to Championship Sunday, of the teams that I thought were playing the best volleyball here in this tournament, Svenja and Sinja, and then Mel and Brandie.
Yep, and they were right at, it was between them, to me, it was Mel and Brandie, Sinya and Svenja, and AP and Duda.
Yep.
And Mel and Brandie ran through them both. And so sometimes you get a win, and in your head, maybe there's an asterisk, like, well, we didn't have to do too much, like other teams took out the best for us. Not so with Mel and Brandie. They had to beat everyone in their path, and they did it. So a massive congratulations to Mel and Brandie, and we're recording this about an hour after the finals ended, and we might not see Mel and Brandie again until mid-September because the autograph line is back through the sponsor village onto the road. It was funny, we were chatting about it. They caused a traffic jam in Montreal last night, so they put Mel and Brandie, smart decision from the promoter, the final match on center every night. Nothing like a night match from your home darlings at home while they're playing the best beach volleyball they have since Paris. And so everyone sticks around, everyone's doing the pictures and autograph thing, and then of course everyone decides to leave the one-lane road at the same time. So our typically 25-minute shuttle ride was closer to an hour. Thanks for nothing, Mel and Brandie.
It's so dang popular.
Super happy for them. So that kind of rounds out our women's side. And to the men, theme of the week is repeat champs. Montreal 2023 won by Mel and Brandie. Montreal 2023 won by Anders Mol and Christian Sorum. And who is 2025 won by Anders Mol and Christian Sorum, who hadn't won since the first event of the season that they played. And so they're back on top of the podium. And of course, was it easy? No, because they had to beat, as me and Anders talked about at dinner on the first night, another fucking Swedish team, a different one. As David Oman and Jonathan Helvig, they were knocked out by their own Swedes. And so they were up against Jacob Holting-Nilsson and Elmer Andersson, who are the real freaking deal, man.
Yeah, no question. If you didn't know who they were before this, you should have. They took a silver in Stad just about a month ago. And they're meeting all these occasions with composure, with calmness, and they battled. They battled super hard. They got a huge win. They hadn't beaten Oman and Helvig yet, and they got the W late. They were down, and they came back late and got a huge win, much to the despise of Oman. Wasn't very happy at all. But I agree. Jacob Holting-Nilsson is the real freaking deal. I think one of the best option players that we have. He's the silkiest, smoothest setter with the butteriest hands that we have on the Beach Pro Tour. And Elmer is getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And these moments, these losses will only make them that much better. Yes, they could get a W here, and that would have been crazy. That would have been so cool for them. But they will come back even hungrier after this loss. They will come back even better, get back in the sand, knowing against Oman and Helvig, like, you ain't nothing. You ain't shit, because we already beat you. We already beat you. What else? What else you want? And so they've only met 3 times. They beat him 1 out of the 2 times. Pretty good record for those boys. I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for the future of volleyball because they're 19 and 20 years young.
It's crazy to see that, like, this next generation, the ones that we saw this sort of Anders effect, how a lot of blockers started doing these lateral moves and getting dynamic, and then now everyone's jump setting, and it's crazy. The effect that Oman and Helvig have already had on the game is vast. It's huge, as we're already seeing generation 2 of Sweden. And Christian Sorum, I was talking to him on court after they won that gold medal, and he's like, Norway, we're falling behind. We need another young team coming up, but they do have one in Marcus Mol and Adrian Mol as well, the Beach Mol Tour. But Anders and Christian, so they're coming off that European Championship gold medal, their 5th European Championship, and maybe not to head coach Adrian Carambulla's approval, they take the week off. And so they come in, they go to 3 with the Grimalds, they go to 3 and lose to the Capagrossos. They go to 3 with Marco Kradiger and Leo Dillier. They barely squeak out that top spot in pool. And I think that loss to the Capos was exactly what they needed, because from there on out, it was game on, and they just cleaned it up.
Yeah, clockwork. We've talked about it a lot on the stream, and losses in pool play can be very beneficial. Losses in playoffs, maybe not so beneficial because your tournament will be over. But it's healthy to get pushed. And you don't want to it might feel good to just crush teams 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, but you really, I think, need to get pushed to battle through to the playoffs to the very, very end. And they got pushed a bunch, a couple 3-setters, and then they got the L. And so a little fire ignited under them, a little bit of refocus, go back, watch film just a little bit more intently with Coach Adrian. And like you said, it might have been just exactly what they needed because they looked deadly. I saw Anders get served more in this tournament than I've ever seen. I think, for sure. Credit to Christian, who sided out so dang well that people had to serve Anders the ball, and he's been siding out so dang well for 7-8 years. But Anders showed us a wide variety of shots, a wide variety of swings, a lot of jumbos, little baby cutties, a couple line Yahtzee bounces fast on the line, which we're going to probably coin the new Anders line.
Yep.
It was fun to see him get pressed a little bit and see how he responded, because we don't get to see it over and over again in him inside out.
Yep. So Anders, Christian, another huge win for them, and it was really fun being on court with them after they won. Just asking Anders, in front of 3,500 strong, I've never witnessed just a straight up wall of people like that. And Anders just said, we love our jobs, and we love coming and playing for crowds like this. And it's cool to see that on the Beach Pro Tour, crowds like this are becoming a lot more regular. Where I was at Florida State for the first couple weeks that you were out there on the Beach Pro Tour, but Brazil, Mexico, always bring great crowds, where now it's becoming something of an aberration when you don't get crowds like this. And there's I feel like there's sort of this dark cloud is always hanging over beach volleyball. And maybe that's just because we're Americans, and there's a lot of discussion on the internets about the AVP and league or tournaments or whatever, but the volleyball world is pretty thriving.
Every event that I've been to work, to commentate, has been packed. No question. Mexico's and Brazil's have all been packed when it matters most. And so, like you said, it seems that beach volleyball's in a great place around the world. And so how can we capitalize that? Continuing to help out the athletes and get them more money, maybe get some more events. But clearly, the fans want to watch beach volleyball, and they're willing to sit in the rain for 4 hours and watch beach volleyball. So you give them a little sunshine, you put a cold drink in their hand, they're going to be out here for days.
Yeah, throw a couple Coronas in the hand, have some fun. Corona, a little presenting sponsor on the jerseys this week. Corona in Mexico. I would have thought Labatt's Blue. Maybe not. I don't know. It's the only Canadian beer I can think of.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't know. I'm not a beer connoisseur. My beer days are kind of gone.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. You're a dad now. You got to keep it tight.
I had to keep that dad body at bay. Last medalist, so Andre Perisic, David Schweiner. That's the grittiest medal performance, because it's hard. It's like weird to say that I didn't think that they played great in that bronze medal match, and you beat Sweden.
Yeah.
They just sort of gritted and grinded and hustled, and Schweiner was just drenched afterwards. And it was like 60 degrees. It was cool today, not like a 95 degree you walk outside and like you're going to be sweating. Like, he was working, and they just sort of grinded their way to a bronze medal, their second elite medal of the year. And they're just such goofs, with their pictures and everything. And you just can't help but root for the guys. It's like hard with all these people that we genuinely have come to love. And it's like you don't root against anyone.
No, it is the problem with volleyball players. Everyone's too dang nice. So it's hard to pick a favorite out here on the tour. But like you said, and what David said, Schweiner, in the post game, he said, "Man, every time you play Sweden, I'm jumping 5 times per point, per rally." And he was bouncing around left and right like a little bouncing ball out there, chasing down digs from Perisic, who, again, Perisic coming into playoffs, siding out at this crazy number called 94%. Never seen anything like it.
Never seen that.
Never at an elite, especially. They played a couple challengers this year. Maybe he'd be siding out that number. Never seen anything like it. Obviously, it dropped a little bit. They played Andersson Christian, and they got a little bit more pressure. But as smooth as can be, super steady defensively. They ramped up the service pressure, but it was the grittiness. And they just were like, we're not giving up here, and they came back to pull it out. So it was really fun to watch.
Yep, and so David Oman, Jonathan Helvig, a third straight fourth. Now, the first two we're going to put some asterisks on because they forfeited out of Star Jablonki. They forfeited out of the Futures at home. No forfeit here. They just lost 2 very good matches to 2 very good teams. And it's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And getting deeper is our sponsorship team here. So the reason that we're bringing this Beach Access back, one, these little recaps, whether elites or Olympic recaps, have become like the most popular thing that we actually do on the pod, more actually than our typical long-form interviews that this is built on. But Shield, our boys at Shield, taking a medical timeout. So I've actually never been huge into the taping, mainly because when I would tape it, one dive later, it's hanging off of me. And that's one thing that Shield really hangs their hat on, is that it actually sticks and it moves with you. Have you ever done the tape thing?
I'm a big tape guy.
Big tape guy.
Big tape guy, and especially in some hot conditions, doesn't always stay. Sometimes if you spray some other products underneath the tape to get it to stay, because the tape isn't going to stay. So I think it can be very beneficial.
Yeah. So, well, here's a gift for you.
Oh, well, thank you so
Shield.
much. Perfect.
And what do we got from Shield? Do you want me to do the read? You got the read?
Yeah. If you're an athlete, coach, or just train hard, you know that staying healthy is easier said than done. It's about staying supported, and that's where Shield comes in. Shield is a US-based athletic tape company built by athletes for athletes. Whether it's rigid tape for serious support, kinesiology tape with a true 4-way stretch for maximum mobility, or turf tape to fight off burns on the field, Shield's got you covered, literally. They even make recovery wraps for postseason cooldowns, inflammation control, and because it's all made right here in the US, you're getting elite quality and fast delivery. They are not cutting corners. So try Shield today, support that actually performs. Check them out at shieldhealthandfitness.com and use code SANDCAST.
SANDCAST, baby.
For a discount. Tape smarter, train harder, Shield up.
Highly recommend. So that's our medical timeout. We're going to get into a quick little World Champs update. So I'm not going to have any exact points, updates, figures for you. I will have a story updated on the SANDCAST website. I will drop it in the comments. But the biggest moves as far as the World Championship standings were made, the Germans, Paul Henning and Louis Wust, in just their third elite main draw. They come out, they take a fifth. And so we talked a lot about sort of when the universe gives you gifts, you got to take them. And the universe gave them one. So they were not great in pool play, right? They lose both their matches by quite a bit, get swept in both, but they accept a forfeit from Sharif Yunus and Ahmed Tijan, who pulled out with a shoulder injury. Sharif expected to be out through one of the Brazil elites, either João Pessoa or Rio. So nothing crazy serious, but enough that he was going to take the time off. And so everyone in that pool was pushed into the playoffs. What do they do in the playoffs? They beat Evandro and Arthur, earned themselves a quarterfinal match against Norway. They fall, but fifth place elite finish, best of their career so far, huge points boost. So they came in ranked number 17 in the World Champs rankings, and this pretty much sharpies them in to me, because now they're going to be main draw in Hamburg, and you get back-to-back main draws in elites. Those are big points, and so Paul Henning and Louis Wust, I'm going to go ahead and say congratulations. I think they will be competing in World Champs.
What a feeling for them. They just got together this year. Yeah. This is their first year playing as a team. They had a huge breakout tournament in Quintana Roo. And then, like you said, boom, fifth place here. It's got opportunity, got to take advantage of it. And they seem super happy when we saw them at lunch today. And you have to be happy.
Yep.
Walking away with a fifth here.
And when you're getting eliminated by Anders Moll, Christian Sorum, whatever.
All right.
And they played great.
They did.
In that match, they only had maybe 2 hitting errors. And, the score's 14-16.
That's crazy.
Now they know the level they have to get to. But another big move made by Mark Nicolaitis, Isaac Carricker, our good friends from Down Under, who are actually hosting the World Championships. They also take a fifth place finish. Some of the best I've seen them play this year. They were number 21 in the World Champs rankings. And as a reminder, top 25 earned their berth. And so they're kind of on that cut line. This is a huge move for them. And so big congrats to our Aussie friends. And now on the more relevant note for a largely American fan base, Julia Donlin, Lexi Denenberg had a huge opportunity to just slam the door shut, as they were the only USA team in the main draw. Mm-hmm. They broke pool, but I think failed to really slam that door.
Yeah. I agree with you. They were in a good position. They had an opportunity. They ran into Tomlin and Victoria, I believe, in the first round of playoffs, because Tomlin and Victoria were in the same pool as AP and Duda. And so the 1 seed in the tournament gets knocked to the second finish in pool, and so Julia and Lexi kind of run into them early. Don't have as crisp as performance as maybe they wanted to, but still a solid finish for them in the race. They're in a good place.
Very much so. So that 4th spot is not a done deal yet. I think that this was the chance to really solidify it, but they could close the door in Hamburg. That's all I have on my card, though. You got anything left on your card?
No, that's it.
So we sadly, obviously Montreal, same weekend as Manhattan Beach Open. We never want to miss the Manhattan Beach Open, but huge congratulations to Kristen Nuss and Taryn Brasher, back-to-back on the pier. Stoked for them. Stoked for Therese Cannon and Megan Kraft for making a final. It's coming. The win's coming. And really happy for Chase Budinger and Miles Evans. Miles' first win on the AVP.
It's crazy.
comes at the Manhattan Beach Open. That is freaking epic. And so much love to my boy Triborn. Last tournament he got to play, and what a poetic finish, picking up Nick Lucena and then getting knocked out in a really epic match against Phil Dahlhauser, Trevor Crabb. Two best friends, two former partners playing against each other. All the love to them. All the love to my boy Kyle Friend and to the city of Montreal. What a great event. We will catch you guys after the Hamburg Elite at the end of August. So until then, shoot.
So long.